and those in the future who will be watching this at some point. We are a group of like-minded individuals sitting together to play Vampire the Masquerade. There are questionable themes, dark overtures, and allusions to violence, to say the least. If you have sensitive tastes or are easily offended, I do not recommend continuing beyond this point. All right. Who would like to start our recap of the perfect plan executed without flaw from
Without
last time?
flaw. How did we get to... I can't remember how we even got to that point.
Dr. Isaacs in the morning realized that he was particularly parched
That's
and
right.
decided to find someone who would fit his taste and not necessarily be too much of a missed individual should something happen. Um, it was not his intention for the situation to arise as it did. However, he immediately joined the rest of the group with a body wrapped in the bed sheets in the back of his van, requesting assistance. Well, how did this proceed from there?
I mean, just perfectly...
Okay.
If memory serves, Dr. Isaacs had a very specific thing in his mind when this happened, and that was, I need Frank. I don't know why he thought I need Frank. Like,
Yes.
he could have thought of anybody else in the group and it would have been better, but he thought Frank.
He did immediately go for the assistance of Frank. Um, that being said, Frank turned it around and created a body package system through the use of the bed linens, loose wire in the garage, a few pockets here and there to try and tuck in weighted items. And though the process was laborious, you managed to create what you feel was a solid interpretation of what you had in your mind at the time. Um, with the assistance of Hank, the two of you took the van down to the wharf. Peter, Jules, and Dr. Isaacs, I believe, Peter, you were actually in the van and they let you out a little bit ahead of Jules and Dr. Isaacs following in her car
Mhm.
for the area. You cased the joint while Jules and Dr. Isaacs patrolled nearby.
Yeah, we were riding in the car. Me and the good doctor, well, Jules and the good doctor, and then Jules was listening to radio and just driving around in her
Mhm.
very inconspicuous car. You know.
Would you like to remind us of just how inconspicuous your car is? That was following behind the white van with curtains in the windows.
It was Impala. It was a nice, bright green Impala.
It was that beautiful, like, turquoise green
Yeah,
with
like
black trim, I believe.
yeah, it looks nice. I did provide a picture. I need to put it like
Yes.
in the community notes and everything.
A very beautiful car. Not conspicuous whatsoever.
Hey, it's the '60s. What can I say? We like,
I don't fault you at all.
yeah.
Okay. Hank and Frank made their way down to the wharf, found a parking spot that they felt was inconspicuous, mostly unmanned vehicles nearby of those pulling overnight shifts for the factory and the shipping lanes. Um, what was the next course of action? The most immediate direct route from A to probably C at this point. We skipped B.
What do you mean, Toasty?
I what I mean is, what was the most effective way to dispose of a body
Oh,
in Frank's mind?
well, the most effective and efficient way to get rid of the body was to put it into the river,
Mhm.
but to put it into the river in such a way that it wouldn't just wash up onto the bank, because then, like, it would be discovered relatively quickly, and my understanding of the situation was that we didn't want it to be discovered quickly. So if I put it into the river further out and weighted it down so that it would stay at the bottom for longer, then when it did eventually rise, it would be taken by the current in the middle of the river much further down, and remove any potential for it to come back on us. So just throwing it into the river wasn't going to really do it for me. So the most efficient way to deal with the situation was for me to pick it up and run and jump as far as I could out into the river.
So you threw yourself into the river while holding it.
Yeah.
So just to clarify, which river are we talking about here?
The Mississippi River.
Yeah.
That's the one.
The Mississippi River cutting right through New Orleans. That being said, what was the thought that went through Frank's mind after entering the water, but not immediately touching the bottom? He had enough
Probably
time to think.
I
and
mean,
there
it was
something
probably like
specific.
I imagine it was probably something along the lines of, "Wow, this is deeper than I thought it was going to be."
Yes.
And that thought continued to play through my mind for quite a long time as I kept sinking.
You sank for almost a half a minute, if not longer.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very difficult to gauge just how far you sank because of the quality of the water being so muddy and brackish, as well as the fact that there's no light down there. The entire experience was in cold, wet darkness by the time you reached the full depth of where your feet touched the bottom. You had a difficult time holding on to the body, though thanks to your additional canite strength, you were able to. Most of your endeavor for that evening was by feel alone. And despite the difficulty of such a task that had just become your focus, you were trying to find something to maybe tie the rest of the cable around and the body to.
Yeah.
You did manage to find something you thought would probably linger there, and it would delay the release of the body long enough.
I'm not anticipating it being like forever. It's just like
No.
trying to slow down the release of the body as much as possible, really.
In essence, you think this body will stay here until either decomposition takes effect and pieces of it begin to maybe lose their integrity so that the wire comes loose, or something down here comes along and decides to have a meal.
Good enough for me.
It was then your task to try and make your way back. Would anyone else like to describe the scene of Frank surfacing at the
I
wharf?
think that the lucky ones had left by this point, as in Dr. Isaac,
Peter,
Jules,
yeah.
and Shit Dog. They'd all left. And unfortunately for Hank, Hank was the one staying behind to watch the creature from the Black Lagoon emerge from the Mississippi, black, completely covered in shit, and traipse his way back to the van.
Strands of kelp and various other things that live along the bottom of the Mississippi in this area. Silt,
Yeah.
mud, you name it, a solid mixture. Yes. And he was just slowly pulling himself with great effort up and over the bottom of the wharf. Frank, in
Yep.
a futile endeavor to clean himself up, took off his shirt, wiped his face off, thought about donning it once again, and instead hurled it back into the Mississippi with the rest of the junk that usually floats there. And the two of them made their way back to the 500 Club. Jules, Peter, and Dr. Isaacs, in the meantime, were making themselves at home in the garage. What did you end up doing that they walked in on?
We were playing a Texas Hold'em.
We're having a smoke.
Both accurate.
Yep.
What was the original wager going to be?
Oh, out of character, I can't remember.
No
was
shoes,
blood.
no shirt, no pants.
Is
It
either
was
we were,
blood.
yeah, it was gonna be for Vitae. That's right.
Yes. And then there was an objection. Um, and you settled for money. However, there was a brief discussion about sharing someone's particular ability to shapeshift.
Right, the vicissitude.
Yeah. No, actually. Animalism with Peter.
Oh, Protean. That's it, right. That's right.
Sorry, yes.
I got you.
Yes. And it was confirmed that you cannot get it secondhand, you have to get it from the source. And he would not be sharing that particular ability with anyone present after the comments they had been making about Shit Dog.
Look, Jules never called him shit dog.
No, but Dr. Isaacs did it. It fed into the situation.
I gotcha.
I called him Petey to be fair, and he was like, "No, I don't like that name."
Shit dog it is
It's
then.
a very sensitive soul.
That's
Poor Peter.
such a sudden change. It was also brought to light that Dr. Isaacs was out there in the entire situation in which Peter missed his jump. Peter was not the only one floundering a bit.
See, I did a jump properly.
I don't know what you're talking about. Nothing happened.
Somehow the dice smiled on you for the entire thing.
It's a good job Phil wasn't on for you.
That's true. Yeah, Phil had jumped in and be like, and that was the last
Yeah.
we ever saw of Phil.
New underwater campaign for Spot.
No, it wouldn't even got that far. It'd have been like, let me make a roll to see if I can jump into the Mississippi. Oh, I fucked up and haven't even managed to fall in the river yet. I fall out of the van, flat on my face.
Oops, there was something similar to a stake there, and you're now in torpor.
Yeah.
Figures.
All right, and we pick up on the scene of Dr. Isaacs has just committed to getting Frank a new set of clothes and some cologne for his change for the evening. Frank, you had managed to create a mock shower by taking one of the sheets of metal in the area and kind of just propping it up on something and laying the hose from outside on top after punching holes into the top of the metal sheet for a pseudo shower.
Close enough.
Yep. And that's where we pick up. It is, surprisingly enough, fairly early in the evening still, despite all of the shenanigans which have already taken place. And you do know that you are likely to be introduced tomorrow evening. Frank, one of your items of importance was you had actually offered a meeting point for everyone instead of the 500 club.
Yeah.
In the early evening hours for you. Do you remember what it was?
It's like the cafe that I encountered what I thought was the sound of my family and the chinking of cups.
Yes. Which was Cafe Bon Temps.
Which is a place that I tend to go to anyway when I wake up. Just to go and hang out there and see if my wife and kids turn up. My wife and kid turns up. But and also while I'm on the lookout for Hat Guy.
Yes.
But because I go there anyway, it's like, well, why don't we just meet up there?
It also keeps them out of the 500 club.
Yeah.
To be fair. So going forward, I think the group had agreed to that. Jules, you also emphasized that you would like for them to meet your husband, and you had already spoken to him about that.
Very true, very true.
You mentioned that this evening it could be possible to have them over and meet him. You do know he is at work. And while you aren't certain if he's in office, you do know you would be able to get a hold of him by either personal number or calling one of the individuals at the office, and they would be able to relay your message quickly.
Sure. I'm trying to think of how Jules would contact him. I think the personal number probably would be the best way.
Mhm. You would reach out to his not you wouldn't be reaching out to his secretary. You would have the direct number to his office itself. Um, yes.
I've just looked at my character sheet. Do we need to do rouse checks? And how many willpower points do we get back for sleeping?
You do not
Resting.
need to do same night, so you don't
Oh,
need
okay.
to do another rouse.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we'd. That's fine. Yeah. All right.
Nope,
Okay.
you're good.
So
You're good. It's technically different scene, so
Okay.
you get 1 willpower point back.
Oh,
But
okay,
it is
cool.
still same night, so you don't have to do a rouse.
Cool.
Okay. So same night, we're still like in the garage,
Yes.
and okay.
It is that same evening.
Okay.
Everything that happened actually happened very early in the night. So you have about 6 hours to work with still. You do know that you're going to be presented tomorrow. The location of Elysium will be shared, probably by the end of the night, from Josephine. She did pass that on.
Okay.
So we
Jules,
just
you
need to
see-
stay out of trouble for one more night.
just
Shouldn't
this
be too
night.
hard.
Just the rest of this night.
So
Not bumping into vampires, not following vampires around, not trading favors with vampires, just staying out of trouble.
So we're gonna go and eat your husband then, or are we gonna do that another night?
We
We
can.
should
you
probably
say
get you
eat?
some pants.
Did you say eat or
Yeah.
meat?
Did you say
Yeah.
meet or eat?
Yeah, I did.
I'd rather meet him for now. I mean, he's useful.
Okay.
Like he can do things in the daytime that we can't. So, yeah, do you want to meet him? Sure.
And if we want to do that tonight,
Now, if you want to
Or-
eat the chef, sure, go ahead.
done deal.
Just make sure that like no one sees you.
Bit up of a hunger in that climbing out of the river was that was hard work.
Maybe don't jump in the river then.
Solid advice there.
Yeah. Did you? I take it that you learned not to do that again.
That's not what I learned from that experience at all.
What did you learn from that experience?
It's really deep,
It's
and because it's really deep, the sunlight don't get down there.
oh. Huh.
So, in a pinch, not a bad idea. If we need to if we're like on the cusp of the sun coming up, and we need somewhere to hide,
Just jump into
Jump.
Mississippi.
jumping in the Mississippi probably ain't a bad plan.
God help me.
I'd probably disagree with that.
Yeah.
The whole kind of
Yeah, I
current
appreciate
and
that because
everything.
jumping's involved in it. Don't worry, I'll pick you up and I'll jump in with you.
I do have a
I know you're bad
question.
at jumping.
I have a question about your logic. Okay, it sounds good on the surface. Don't get me wrong. Okay, but what about in the daytime as the current is still going, and then you're in the Gulf, in the middle of the ocean where sharks are, and
No,
everything.
No, you did. No, you see, I sank for really, really. It's a lot deeper than I thought it was going to be.
Right. It's
Right.
again. It's
And
the
I
Mississippi.
sank for a really long time, and when I got to the bottom, I wasn't being dragged along by the current as much as sinking into the riverbed.
So we're more like rocks now instead of floaty.
Yeah, we don't float. I can
Oh.
categorically, definitely say we do not float, and getting out of the river is a
don't.
lot harder than getting into it.
Yes.
Uh,
So we might want to maybe think about like
Not doing it.
if we pre-set up things like maybe some cable or something in the river that makes it easier for us to be able to pull ourselves out, like as a contingency, is probably not a bad shout.
yeah. I like it. Okay, I was against it, especially with the current, but since we sink like rocks and stay there, yeah, that'd be fine.
Well, we kind of sink like rocks, and then you hit the bottom, and the bottom's really squishy, and then you sink into it, and it like you don't really get dragged very much by the current. Like when you're sinking, you do, but when you get to the bottom, it's like you're standing in
Quicksand?
treacle. Quicksand, yeah.
Oh, that doesn't sound fun at all.
It's better than better, doesn't it?
Oh, it's
Yeah.
not fun. It's not fun at all. No, no, it's really hard work.
I would like to point out that during this entire conversation, he is still showering. There is sand and mud still coming off and like slowly sludging its way to the drain built into the floor of the garage.
I imagine that Jules is just like kind of like talking to him, like
Well, yeah, you still had your card game going. It's fine.
yeah. So she's like, well, okay, she's still playing cards, and kind of glancing so often.
And you get muck in every crevice. It's like it's not nice, but like in a pinch, being practical.
That just
It's not much
sounds
out.
disgusting. So, but yeah, sure. I guess if we have to, like, if we're desperate and everything, then pretty sure maybe. What do you think, Hank?
I think it's a ridiculous idea. I don't think I'll be jumping in the Mississippi anytime soon. But there you
Say
go.
that.
And what do you?
I do.
And what do
See
you
what's gonna
think,
happen tomorrow night.
Peter?
I think it's bullshit.
It happened. I promise you.
Frank,
Hmm.
you have an unpleasant sensation in your gut, and your chest feels heavy, like there's a weight in it.
Okay.
And you can feel there's something in your body as you begin to have a visceral response to whatever is churning in your stomach, and you just double over in the corner where you have your shower, and the scent of the river water is overpowering as it expels itself from within you.
When you say expels itself, are we talking like top end or bottom end?
Top end.
Okay, cool. Because the bottom end would be really embarrassing.
Hank, do you have another hose?
I think we could find another hose, yeah, if needed.
I need to wash out the van before that dries.
Yes, the van smells horrible right now.
I think I might need to turn myself upside down.
Your lungs still feel heavy.
Yeah.
You wanna come with me, Hank, while they help him with that?
I'd love to, yeah, I'll help you hose down the van.
I'm going to try and do a handstand against the wall and see if I can get as much of this river out of me as possible.
Oh, look, it seems that you discovered something else that we have to contend with if we jump into Mississippi.
I'm not saying it's not without its problems.
As you're
but-
saying this, and you're slowly like walking your feet, yeah, you're slowly walking your feet up one of the support beams so you know it will carry your weight. You just have a fountain of water starting to like tilt up and out of your mouth and from your nose.
So pros, the sun doesn't get there. Cons, literally everything else.
Yeah, but pros
In a
not
pinch.
dying due to sun, cons
Everything
inconveniences.
else.
But you could, of course, just go into a darkened room.
Yeah, where other people could go into. Like while we're dead.
I want to
somebody
point
else will
out,
come in.
like, you're speaking and water is still like flowing out of your mouth simultaneously.
It's really difficult to listen to you while you're evacuating.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's still disgusting. Our character is so good that none of us are toreadors.
I found a new Toreador nightmare.
I'll tell you what, if we meet some Toreadors, though, I've got a great idea on how we can torture them. I've got a great trick. Watch this.
So I gotta make a phone call. Where's a phone?
In the club.
Yeah, Hank, you would be able to take Jules into the club, into one of the not Josephine's office per se, but there is a phone also where the girls prep and take their breaks, so she could use that one without a problem.
Cool. Okay. I will take her up to there, and then I will head back, catch up with the doc, and help him hose down his van from the disgusting mess that Frank has left it in.
Thank you. I don't know why. I just need to get away and then call my husband and see if
Strange
he
that,
can.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody has a sort of burning desire not to be in the same room as Frank. Can't think why.
Frank, you're trying to get the last little bit of water to come out of like your nose or your mouth, and you're like your feet are moving up and down the wall to try and find like the perfect angle to you can feel there's just a little bit of water left. But you're pretty sure you got most of it.
Nice.
Hank and Dr. Isaacs, when you open the door to the van, Hank, you were already aware of the scene inside. Would you like to describe it for Dr. Isaacs, or shall I take the helm for the camera?
I will let you take the helm on this one, Toasty.
Okay. Do you prepare him at all?
I will tell him it's going to be pretty bad in there. He has seen Frank walk in the state he was in. He was in a worse state than that as he came out of the Mississippi. The inside of your van is not pleasant viewing.
Was he in the back only, or was he in?
Oh yeah, he's only in the back. We didn't let him anywhere near the front.
Okay, that's good.
The mattress is soaked. Most of your medical supplies have been used. All of your towels are irrevocably dirty and will never see a cleaner shade than they currently are, regardless of how much bleach you use. If they do turn to a lighter shade, it's going to be a brownish yellow instead of white, as they were. Um, However, there is one single spot in the van that is relatively pristine outside of this tornado of muck and sand and water. And it is the vials you asked them to not touch.
Okay, that's good.
Everything else is coated in some form or another. And there's also various bits of uh, algae slime, and then you have kelp fronds here and there just scattered about. You think that you also see some like fishing line bundled up in one corner that was probably tied around him some method as he pulled himself out of the Mississippi. There's a spool at the end of it. It's very clearly it's come off of a rod at some point and it's broken.
I'm gonna turn to Hank and I'm gonna say, "Why?
Because he's not very bright, and you told him he had to get rid of the body.
Do you want any of this stuff?"
No. If it was me, the next thing going in the Mississippi would be this van, and then you get
No,
yourself a
no,
new one.
no, not the van. No.
You can get another van. This will never be clean.
It will be clean. I can guarantee it. It will be sterilized. I can guarantee it.
Okay. I would suggest we take all the seats out and hose it down.
Burn them.
Yeah. Burn the mattress, burn the towels,
I was
burn most of what was inside of this.
just gonna put everything that isn't part of my van on the mattress and have you take it and throw it away.
Why me? That's all I've got to say. What
You
have I
have
done
bigger
to
arms than
upset
I
you?
do.
Oh, okay, right, great.
You can set it on the side and we can have Frank do it if you want.
Also,
But
I'd like to
he
point
may
out like
be,
Frank's pants and boots are in the alleyway, like near where you guys are talking.
All right. I will get a broom or a large stick or something, which means I don't have to touch any of that, and I will scrape it all together in one place. It's just the two seats in the front, isn't it? Like a bench
Yeah.
seat and a driver's seat.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing Hank is reasonably switched on enough to be able to unbolt those seats and take them out.
Yeah.
And then just hose down the whole floor. Is it carpeted or is it
Nope.
just nope? Just hose down the whole floor and then as much as can without damaging any electrics. Just trying to hose the whole thing out.
Yeah, you should be able to do that with relative ease, I'll be honest, because
Okay.
while you have an eclectic set of tools at the garage, you do have a set of tools. So even if you don't have the most conventional sense to be able to unbolt something through trial, error, and sheer persistence, you can. You also do have a secondary hose that you're able to attach to the side of the club and actually run it from over there into the alley where you need it for this entire endeavor. The interior, what you would have to take out would be the mattress itself, the curtains for the back portion of the van, the towels. You would need to clean out most of the storage space that the doctor has added here because all of that needs to be hosed down. I don't know if he would want to keep any of the medicinal supplies that are there. Some of them are still capped, but they are very dirty on the exterior. I imagine Dr. Isaacs is probably going to take the vials he requested not to be messed with and set them aside where he knows they're safe for the time being while you're doing all of this for him in assistance. And I will say this, the back portion of the van is not carpeted. The front portion of the front two seats is. It's not plush carpet, it's just a covering, kind of like floorboard covering and everything.
Mhm.
You would be able to easily pull that out and place it back in if you needed to. The
Let's do that.
mess
And then
is not
just hose it down.
particularly up there, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
We will do that. We will hose it down. I take it there are trash cans lying around for normal everyday use, yeah?
Yes, you have some larger trash cans inside the garage itself, but there are normal garbage cans. You would have to travel a little bit for a dumpster.
We'll
But-
wheel one of the larger ones out and put as much as we can in there. I'm guessing we get everything in there except the mattress.
The mattress, nor if you're keeping the seats wouldn't go in there if you were going to toss them.
I
But
think the seats will be okay to put back in. I just took them out so they didn't get damaged when we hosed it all down.
you would be able to get everything except for the mattress in there.
Okay. Is the mattress recoverable or is it just a mess?
It depends how desperate you are to keep it.
You're welcome to it, Hank.
I don't really want it, but we've either
Frank
got
Frank
to.
does need a bed.
Well, we could give it to Frank, yeah. Or we could, if there's a big dumpster nearby, we could take it and chuck it in there.
Let's put it this way. OxyClean wouldn't be able to lift these stains.
Okay. I think we just dump it, personally. And Hank's more than happy to wander down with the mattress and chuck it in the nearest dumpster.
Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Clean up your mess.
That's a
Go
perfectly
back in
good
the shower.
mattress. What are you
Definitely
doing?
not.
It's his now, Frank. You can talk to him about it. I don't want any part of it.
Frank, are you saying this while you are...
If I can see what they're doing, if I can't see
Yes.
what they're doing, I can't
No,
comment.
I imagine that you have a line of sight on them. It's an uncomfortable line of sight for anyone in the vicinity, but you have a line of sight on it.
Yeah,
I
well,
don't
no,
want
it's
a
not
line
comment.
of sight to Frank. Does that take in?
If I can see what they're doing, I will make that comment.
Okay.
Blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah, blah. You hear burbling.
I'm going to ignore him because he's an idiot and he's pissed me off already. I'm going to continue to hose down the van, put the seats back in, chuck everything I can into the nearest trash can, and then go and find a dumpster for the mattress.
The dumpster
Thank
for
you,
the
Hank.
mattress would be a I would say you probably have one on your city block nestled between some buildings. Usually gets rolled out into the street to be a takeaway. You're it takes you maybe 5-10 minutes to walk down there, toss it, and come back.
I'm having that back
Total.
out again.
I'm not telling you where I put it.
Beasted.
I mean, you could go search for it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it in the dumpster. I'm gonna set fire to the dumpster, and I'm gonna come back.
Do you actually set fire to the dumpster?
No,
Okay.
no, I'm not. No.
I
No.
have to make certain. I can't take anything in jest in this game. All right.
Thanks,
Dr.
Al.
Dr. Isaacs, your van is clean. Mostly empty, but clean.
That's fine. I'll just put some sanitizing potpourri and light some candles anytime anyone's in here with me. And
Dousing gasoline before you do that. That sort of thing. Yeah.
no, can't do that.
It
We
doesn't
can,
smell as the
shouldn't, but
worst.
yeah.
So you usually help those less fortunate, and I can tell you this now. After
you know.
all of the effort of Hank to assist you with cleaning this out, and I'm certain you've been assisting as well in that process, it doesn't smell worse than your worst patient has.
That's still pretty bad.
As recommendations go, that's not a great one.
Yeah,
It'll
you
be
have
okay.
had
I'll just
worse scents around you in your
smelt worse.
lifetime.
It's okay. I know what to do.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna need a lot of vodka.
Or you could just drive it in the Mississippi. Just say
No.
still an option.
No.
Okay.
No.
I mean, if I knew that was an option, I would have driven it into the Mississippi for you.
It's not an option.
So we know Jules is inside. She's gonna make a call. Peter, in the meantime, what are you doing?
Other than banging my head up against the wall. I'm going to go and see if I can find Matty.
Okay. So you're gonna head off towards the convent, correct?
Yeah.
We'll jump
Actually,
to Jules. Oh,
no, I'm not. No, I'm going to go to like the main area where he normally hangs out.
oh, where you saw Kitten before?
Yeah.
Okay. That's about 5 city blocks from where you currently are. Roughly. So we'll jump over to Jules first. Jules, you're left alone in the ladies' changing room. It's one long mirror that covers an entire far wall for you with a fairly nice countertop midway, and you can see not overly comfortable sitting arrangements dotted along it. You imagine that this can comfortably sit about 6 to 8 people, and there are definitely around 10 stools here. Some of them are pushed against walls. You imagine it varies depending on who's working today, and their stuff is scattered everywhere across the top. Like, there are eyeshadows and blushes and powders and brushes and just everything. It kind of seems like it's very easy to mix up who has what here. Like, you can tell there's some very designated areas, like they have a small organizer here or they have a wig stand here, and you could tell where each of them has a space, but it just kind of all flows together for the smaller items. On the far wall is a set of open-faced cubbies, and you can see duffel bags or backpacks or purses tucked into each of these under certain name tags, as well as shoes tucked into the bottom. The phone itself is actually affixed to the wall next to a doorway, and if you peek in the doorway, it's kind of an open shower situation divided by curtains. There's a bunch of glitter on the floor as well.
She'll make sure to avoid that as much as she can because glitter is like herpes. It just spreads everywhere.
Yeah, glitter and vampires is going to give you a bad name, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't do it.
So
I will leave this call.
but thankfully this is in the 1960s, so no vampires know what twilight even is. So
God, you said the words.
but no, she'll look around. There's like no smoking signs, so she'll light up a cigarette
Yeah.
and then make a phone call to her husband's line that
It
ring.
rings 2-3 times, and Romero picks up. Good
Hey.
evening.
Hey, baby.
Oh, darling. How are you? I'm sorry I left earlier. I'm still getting used to our later hours.
Oh, that's okay. Look, you're taking it like a champ. Anyway, the reason I called, how would you feel about meeting my new friends tonight?
Do you want anything special set up for it? I'm fine with meeting your friends whenever you would like to. I can put what I'm currently doing aside. It
If you
doesn't
have
have to be finished
time.
right now. I always have time for you, dear.
Excellent. We're probably gonna need a new chef after tonight.
Did they do something wrong?
Oh no, not they burned my eggs, but don't worry. My new friends will take care of him. Find him something to do.
If they would be so kind, I would appreciate it. I will see who we can bring in the meantime.
Yeah.
And then you can test their dishes.
Yeah.
It's so unfortunate.
I know. But how competent can he be as a chef? He burns eggs,
That's very true. Since you started working at the house, you've always loved his cooking.
I did, but things change. Like, I have to have the best. You know me.
Quite right. Well, if they'll take him off of our hands, I will begin looking right away.
Yeah.
Do you want him to finish out his night there for the supper planning, or should I send someone else to make tonight's meal?
Oh no. Let him like, we'll break the news to him. Just let him do his job tonight. It'll be all good.
I can do that for you if you would prefer.
What?
Break the news.
No. Let us break the news. It'll be fine, darling. It'll be great.
How soon would you like for me to meet them?
Out of character, what time is it now?
It's around maybe 8 or 9 in the evening. Despite the craziness that has happened so far, it's only been maybe 2-3 hours.
Okay.
Sure, we could fit a lot more craziness in.
I'm sure we can. I'm sure that we're gonna probably do a lot more before the night's out. So, especially when we meet him.
You have about 6 hours, comfortably 7 if you push daylight a little bit.
Okay. I'm thinking out of character 11:30.
Okay, so 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours. That way, what can go wrong in 2.5 hours? Yeah, I said it.
Everything.
So, yeah.
Everything can go wrong in 2.5 hours.
Okay. I will be at the house in 2.5 hours. Should I anticipate them arriving before or after?
A little bit after. I'm pretty sure Dr. Isaac, the good doctor, will be pretty easy to get there. I don't know about Hank. He's a little dirty. He took a bit of a swim in the Mississippi.
Jules, you know I trust you and your choices implicitly, but you know what that usually means. Are you certain you want to bring him into the house? If he has people dunking him in the Mississippi?
Oh no, he took the swim to. He's taking care of something, so yeah, he didn't get dumped into the Mississippi. He jumped into the Mississippi.
As long as you're certain, dear.
Of course, of course.
Okay. I'll bring back some of the cigars from the office, as well as pick up some nice wine on the way home.
Sure, sure, sure. Also, are there any people that are like, not meeting their quota or anything like that? With their payments to us?
I have some of the newer individuals that have joined us recently that are under review, and then 2 or 3 companies that owe us payments for this month.
Be a dear and give me a list.
Certainly.
Yeah,
It's good to have you home.
it's good to be home, darling.
And he
Well,
will bring you that list when he comes home for you, by the way.
okay. And then she'll be like, "Well, okay, I'll see it at 11:30. Bye now.
You,
Love you
you
much.
need it? Okay, bye.
Bye."
I love you. Click.
Like, yeah.
like I imagine he's tried to say goodbye and it's just like that you get your goodbye out first and then you're gone.
Yeah, then the smooches and then
Yep.
click.
No, you
Okay.
hang up. No, you hang. Oh, she hung up.
Yeah.
She hung up. She must be busy.
And then she'll finish her cigarette and then kind of go like, "Ah, God. Well, that's one way to take care of like dinner." And then she'll put out her cigarette and then head back to where the shower is.
Is she upset about Romero or is she upset about the cook?
She's a little upset about the cook. She's not all that upset, but she just knows that, well, since she drank from him and then he
Let's
thinks
keep this between us.
right that
Yeah.
the secret's eventually gonna come out, and she'd rather him not thinking that she's wanting to get with
Have
him.
a relation, yeah.
Yeah, he was just food, so now he's gonna become food for someone else, so it's gonna take care of itself.
Understood. So you finish your cigarette, you put it out, and you said you head back to the garage.
Yeah.
In the meantime, Pete, you have
Hello.
left the individuals cleaning one themselves and two the van to their own devices and struck out for the evening. You do know Jules earlier during the card game mentioned that she would like for you to meet her husband this night, so just want to make sure you remembered that from previous session, just in
Yeah,
case.
I wasn't hanging about. Yeah.
Yeah. That being said, 5-block walk, fairly consistent night for the French Quarter that you're used to. You see a couple of mounted police officers as they're patrolling the area, occasionally getting heckled by the drunk here and there, but mostly left alone into their own devices. You reach your first corner. Give me a wits awareness. You're on St. Philip and Royal right now, so you're right here. Also, I updated the map with a few different areas and colors. So, like, this big blue area was Maddie's usual space. Down here is the corner where you hopped into and found, like, the signs of the struggle for Maddie. This golden square over here is the 500 Club location. This golden square over here is Bon Temps Cafe. This was the club that you guys busted up the racketeer ring that was given Josephine.
Yeah, it was good.
This red X is where you killed and roughly left the body. It was a little bit further into the road right here.
That was even better.
This X over here is where the railway is that the dock had the instance happen. And then that's just the dotted line is to indicate where the body eventually ended up. The blue dot over here at the wharf is where you jumped off.
What difficulty do you want?
I'll just put it at 2. 2 successes. This portion of the quarter is a little bit quieter than usual. And I don't mean tourist-wise. There's still plenty of faces and people around, entering shops and establishments here, filling the streets and the sidewalks like usual, but your normal crowd that you keep an eye out for is not even a skeleton crew right now. You don't see Kitten, you don't see Maddie, you don't see the usual suspects.
How far's the convent from here?
The convent is a couple of blocks away. It's not very far.
Yeah, I'll just make my way over to there.
Are you going to try and enter inconspicuously once again?
No. No. I'm just going to be. Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm just going to go through the front entrance.
Nearing the convent, you get that same uncomfortable sensation as the first time when you arrived here. You walk up the front entryway, which cuts through a low hedge maze. You can easily see over both sides. It's only about waist high for you. In the center is a water fountain. It's not overly grand, but it's not modest either. You ring your way around that straight to the front doors, and I imagine you knock.
Mhm.
There are lights on inside the building.
Yeah.
You knock a couple of times, and it takes a few minutes before a young woman dressed the look as you would imagine for someone working within the convent answers. Good evening, sir. Were you looking for something?
Yeah. A friend of mine was here. He was hurt. Matty, his name is. Trying to find him.
You see a little bit of confusion lit across her features as you speak about the individual, and then you mention Maddie, and she's just like, "Oh, the young man. He was in quite a state when we found him. I'm so sorry. I don't think I caught your name. I'm Sister Adelaide."
Yeah, I didn't give it.
Okay. Well, I can tell you that your friend is no longer here.
Okay. Is he okay?
Yes, in fact, it was a little bit miraculous. We thought we would have to convince him to go to the hospital yesterday, but his wounds were mostly closed.
Praise the Lord.
Well, if that's all, if you'll excuse me, and she goes to kind of close the door, very clearly uncomfortable around you.
Cheers. I'm going to make my way away.
Mm-hmm. Like, as she goes to close the door and you turn around and you go to walk off, give me a wits awareness. At a 2.
I see nothing.
You
I might
see nor
re-roll
hear
that.
nothing.
I might re-roll that.
Yeah.
Willpower roll.
That's almost a fill roll.
It is almost a 3 for fail roll. 3.
Yes, correct.
There you
You
go.
got the 2 you needed. As you're walking away, you do not hear the door close. You heard it start, like you heard the hinges pull, and you can tell that she's probably watching you leave. And once she's comfortable with how far away you are, you do hear the door shut, and then you hear a click.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I'm just gonna make my way away. Head back to the 500 club, so I can cut a place of search off, so I don't need to come back here. I know he's gone now. So.
Do you want to make a cursory lap around some of the streets here while you're present?
Yeah, I'll do sort of like the sort of longish route home, just in case I manage to spot anybody.
Mm. In that case, since you've already kind of done your cursory glance, this would be paying a bit closer attention because you know something is off. You're not
Mhm.
sure what yet. Give me a wits investigation out of 3. Or intelligence investigation. I would give you intelligent investigation on this one because
Okay.
you're comfortable with the people you're dealing with. You know what to look for.
I'll do.
All right. 5 of 3 and a messy critical.
See everything.
You don't just see everything, you experience everything. Also, can I point out, I think her response was very accurate for one of your flaws.
Yeah.
Mm. Peter, as you make your way up Ursuline, and then you start to head towards St. Philip, the corner where you usually run into Kitten on is completely devoid of any workers at this point. It's just a mob of faces to and fro. No one's catcalling them. No one's offering them deals. No one's bringing them over to see if they're lost and need assistance. And as you step there, you notice, kind of glancing down one of the alleys, like there's a scent that catches your nose. Something familiar. It's the very light floral perfume that Kitten usually wears. And looking down there, you can see that there are a pair of heels sticking out the side of what looks to be like several garbage cans and overflowing trash bags.
Hmm. Okay. I'm gonna head my way down there. Just have a see if she's just sleeping under some trash bags.
And there's some trash bags. Okay. Do you go about it any particular way? Or you just start pulling trash bags and stuff away?
Well, with sort of like investigative mind, don't want to disturb any sort of evidence or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So carefully, gingerly.
In this instance, you do not have a small camera with you. You don't have any film or anything like that. You don't have gloves. There wasn't really anything on emphasis for DNA just yet. It was predominantly fingerprinting at this point.
Mhm.
You take stock of the situation in front of you, and as you make your way down the alleyway and stand in front of the spot proper, you notice that the trash bags have indeed kind of just overflown outside of the garbage cans, but you also see that the garbage can lids are seated comfortably on top of the trash cans. Like, this was something where maybe the garbage bags had been taken out and it was made to look like she just fallen into them, or that maybe she had been here longer than she has been. Um, as you pick them apart, you don't necessarily find anything of note. Like, there's nothing on one of the bags here or there. You do see a small splatter of blood on the wall. It looks like she might have slid down and landed where she currently is. And as you pull away the final trash bags to reveal Kitten, she's in a similar style outfit to what you've come to expect her to be in. It's a little bit revealing, a little bit risque, but not so much so that it like actually gives anything away. It's very fashionable for the current time, very brightly colored. Her hair is a mess. There is a splotch of red in the top, like, left hand corner of her hairline on her forehead. And you can see that has dyed some of her hair red as well, along with it. Um, due to your investigation roll, you can tell that there is also blood on her throat. You're not certain if it's coming down from her hairline and across her neck and clavicle area. Would you like to take a closer look?
Yeah.
Okay. I would say give me another investigation intelligence, this one at a 2.
Hmm.
Good
No.
willpower.
Yeah, go on then. 3 more?
Yeah. You got the one you needed. Um, leaning in closer, ignoring the scent of the trash around you. You can tell that she doesn't have the scent of decay currently. She looks like if you pick up her wrist and let go, there is no rigor. And as you inspect the injuries closer, it looks like she probably not quite got roughed up. She got knocked into the wall with some force. But you don't. Something about this doesn't sit quite right with you. That doesn't seem like enough to kill her. It's definitely a strong injury, but she's for certain dead, from what you can tell. You also notice that there is a pair of puncture marks on her throat.
Hmm.
They look a little bit jagged, a little bit like the skin's torn a little bit, like there might have been a struggle, but there are a set of puncture marks.
Is this a dead end, Ali?
No, it's a throughway. It's just where most people toss their garbage between the two buildings.
Okay. I put all the trash bags back on top of her in a similar kind of vein that she was initially.
Mhm.
And I'm going to pass on through and then head back towards the 500 Club.
Okay. You arrive about the time they finish hosing out the van and putting the seats back in.
Oh, damn, I missed out on helping.
Jules, you come down a little bit after that.
Oh no, I also missed out on helping clean up all that shit. Okay.
Frank, you think that if there's any water left, it will find its own way out of your body, or it is now a permanent fixture.
Okay.
So you have taken to sitting, I imagine, at the makeshift poker table where everybody left their bets and just kind of cleared out from the awkward scene that was occurring.
Better find something to wear. Well, I'm out of ideas.
Maybe a shirt, pants, shoes.
Yeah, hang on a minute. Let me just check my wardrobe. Oh, I don't have one.
You did give the doctor your measurements.
I did. I'm waiting for my clothes to turn up.
Well, how far does Jules live from here?
Jules, you know that your husband's clothes would not fit Frank.
That is not what I'm asking.
I'm just letting Jules know.
Out of character, how far away from the 500 Club does Jules live from there? Bye.
You're only a couple city blocks away because you were close to Jackson Square.
Okay.
Rosie, would any of Hank's clothes fit him?
Likely, yes. I would say the two of you are similar fit.
Okay. Hank will find some some old clothes he doesn't use anymore and chuck them towards Frank.
Oh, thanks, buddy. I know I could count on you.
Anytime.
Well, there you go.
It's really good of you. Unlike certain people, I'd give a pointed look at Dr. Isaacs. Like, it's not like I did you a favor or anything.
I was gonna go to the store and pick you up something from the Salvation Army.
Oh, well, I'll just sit around here naked until you do that then, shall I?
Well, we had to clean up your mess first.
Yeah, that was
After
the more
you
important
cleaned
thing.
up my mess. Yeah, but
That was the more important thing. Cleaning the back of your van was more important than finding me clothes. Gotcha. I know where we stand now.
Playing when you dock after he jumped into the Mississippi and everything for you. Not that he needed to or should have done, but
Peter, this
I thought you were just gonna put it
that-
in the alley somewhere. To be honest,
Anyway, at 11:30, we have time. We can meet my husband at 11:30, so it'll be find him some clothes, like suitable clothes that he likes, unless he likes wearing Hank's clothes.
I don't give a shit what I look like. Frank literally doesn't care. He'll just put on whatever is put in his general direction.
cool. Okay.
I will buy you some clothes soon.
Yeah, I know you will, dog.
We'll finish putting together the docks van, putting the seats back in, putting the storage units back in, getting it as close to a decent level as we can.
Speaking of which, Frank, I was wondering if you could do me a solid.
Am I going back in the river again?
No, Christ, no. But thank you for the offer. No. Being so willing to do so. That touches me deeply. No, I have this chef. Well, he needs to kind of disappear.
Say no more. I've got you covered.
Excellent. If you want to, you could make him one of us.
I think that's a bad idea.
Maybe. We'll see.
I'll leave it up to you.
Seems a bit strange to be a vampire daddy when I haven't even met my own vampire daddy yet.
Well, I haven't met my vampire daddy or mommy yet either. The only one of us I think that has is the good doctor.
And me.
Oh, and Hank.
Who's your vampire daddy?
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah, you.
You're your
She's
own
so-
vampire daddy?
No. Are you talking to me? She's sat upstairs. It's Josephine.
Oh.
Oh. Oh. Alright, that makes sense.
It does. Okay.
Now, Frank, are you like? Do you like? What color clothes do you like? I know exactly where to get them.
I don't care.
Okay,
I like
I
kind
can
of
make that work.
just plain shirts and jeans and boots.
These will be the type of clothes that hundreds of people wear every day, all throughout the city.
Uh-huh. I don't really care what it looks like.
Okay.
I suppose like darker colors are probably better because then like blood don't show up on it so much. But
Okay.
I don't really care, to be honest with you. Whatever.
All right. I'll get a variety.
Okay.
Okay. Are you gonna go get those now? What are your current intentions? You have about 2.5 hours.
Oh, if I have time to go get them now, then yeah, I will.
Okay, where are you headed?
Not Tulane. I'll head to the hospital.
Okay. Do you take the van?
Yeah, I take the van. What am I
Yeah,
gonna do?
open
Walk
all the
there?
windows, let it
Turn
air.
into a shit dog?
Before he goes away, Jules will be like, wait. Should one of us go with him? Preferably not the naked man.
I'm got clothes now.
Oh,
Clothes on. I can go with them if you want.
yeah, that might be a good idea.
I'll be fine.
Okay.
Well, our fearless leader, we want to make sure that you're okay.
Do me a
And
favour, stay downstairs. Don't go wandering upstairs, or don't let Frank go wandering upstairs. Just stay low key, yeah.
we'll be fine. We'll play cards.
Okay.
Or he can go back in the shower and sing if he wants to.
Sing? I don't sing in the shower.
Or just go ahead and take another shower.
I'll just put my clothes on.
Or do the handstand again. I mean, you looked really good doing that. Get some of that more of that water out of you.
No, that's all. That's pretty much gone now.
Are you sure?
are
I can
you're
feel it
shaking around?
sloshing a bit.
Yeah, you can feel it.
There's a little bit left, but I'm sure I'll come out. I ain't standing on my head all day.
Can I get a wits awareness? Not from Hank and Dr. Isaacs, because they're headed towards the van right now, but from Pete and Jules at a 4.
I don't think I want to.
What's an awareness? You said.
Yes, please.
I'm gonna have to rouse for this.
If you want
I get hungry.
Oh no, damn! I failed.
So close.
You're right there. You could have known.
Okay, it's not popping up real fast for me.
It's okay.
I really don't like this new character sheet.
I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Is it just laggy for you? Like, what's going on with it?
I clicked it, but it hasn't done anything yet.
The box might be hidden behind your the character sheet window.
Yeah,
Let's see.
like your modifier option.
I'm looking around for it. I mean, look at all the windows.
Let's see. Do you pop out your character sheet when you use it?
I do. That's why. Now I can't find my other sheet.
Too
There.
many windows.
Well, oh, there it is. Okay. Second entry. Oh, it popped up on another one. What's and my +1 for rouse. He said
And
difficulty of 2.
Of 4.
A 4? Oh.
Wits awareness. Yep.
Oh.
Jules, you're you're accustomed to Frank at this point, but even this is a little unpleasant for you, and you just kind of do your best to not pay attention, whereas Peter, you actively are trying to not pay attention despite your higher senses.
Ignored that one because I had to, it wouldn't let me,
Close out your stuff.
yeah, it wouldn't let me. It was being mean to me.
I'm just gonna have to bully it back for you. Okay. Dr. Isaacs. Hank. The two of you hop into the van, definitely in need of air fresheners and windows open, and make your way over to the hospital. Dr. Isaacs, do you let Hank in on your current plan for clothing for Frank?
I'm gonna go steal scrubs.
Okay.
They're generally one size fit all. They might be a little snug. They come in all different colors. I think he'd really like some pink ones personally for when he's happy. But yeah. Do you want to wait here? Do you want to come inside?
I'll wait by the van.
Okay.
You're okay going in and getting these scrubs, yeah?
Yes, I'll be fine.
Okay.
Where do you park the van? Do you use general parking? Do you use like the emergency parking lot, the overflow area?
Is this not the hospital that I work at?
Oh, it would be. I'm just confirming where you actually park your van.
Wherever my parking spot is.
Okay. All right. You find your usual parking space. It is open. A little nondescript is kind of in the same area. It's not specifically designated. It's just they have so many here for employees. Though your row is usually kept open for individuals like physicians and other individuals of higher rank within the hospital. Getting out, you go inside, you get greeted by several familiar faces. There's a receptionist sitting behind the front desk. She's clearly having to deal with an overflow of people right now for the emergency area. And she is doing her best to try and sign them in while simultaneously giving you a good evening, Dr. Isaacs, and then immediately going back to business.
I'll give a wave and just kind of beeline to I imagine they
Housekeeping?
probably keep some extra scrubs in the on-call rooms.
Yeah, they definitely do. You do know that people typically keep their own scrubs in their own like lockers and whatnot.
Yeah.
There are general for use in case there's an emergency and somebody has to stay overnight unplanned. I would say there are the usual like mint green scrubs that you can get.
That's fine.
Some deep navy blue scrubs. Like most of these are color coordinated for what
Yeah,
they do within the
department.
hospital.
Yeah.
You
Pink is
also
like children care. Yeah.
yes. You do see some pink in there, but they look to be more feminine cut. Like it's fairly universal, but you can tell these are smaller than the other ones.
He said he didn't care, so you know, if I think it will fit him if they're big enough.
So let me
If it looks like two of me can fit in them, usually they're one size fit all, but
these have less of like a square or oval neck and more of a V, like a not a deep V neck, but a V neck on the pink one.
oh, he'll like that. It'll be nice so he can breathe.
Yeah. Okay. You think that they might be a little snug on him, but they will probably still fit. Same for most of these, to be fair.
I think most clothes in the city will be a little snug on him, but they will fit.
Do you grab one of each color or multiple?
I'll grab one of each color.
All right, so you get the mint green, you get the navy blue, you get a gray, and you get a pink.
Okay.
On your way out, you do bump into one of your fellow physicians. She's gonna kind of catch you by the like. She doesn't seem to notice what you're doing. I imagine that you're just like stuffing these into a bag that you had in your own
Yep.
personal locker. On your way out of the on-call room, she catches you by the arm, and you can tell that this is Dr. Lee. And she's gonna, Dr. Isaacs, it's been a while. We were worried.
Yeah, I called Dr. Caldwell and I kind of cleared some things up. I just had to go out of town for a couple days.
It's good to see you. Are you here for shift tonight?
No, not tonight.
It's a shame. We could really use the help.
I have some time I can spare, but I have to go in about an hour.
She's gonna give you an awkward smile and say, "That's about enough time to clock in and get familiar with the charts. Hopefully I'll see you soon."
Yeah. Good to see you too.
And just for your reference, that was Dr. Sabine Lee. That would be somebody you're familiar with, and she does typically work in the children's ward. You make your way relatively unaccosted back out to the van and rejoin Hank.
All right, Hank, ready to go?
Yep. Lead the way.
I'm gonna hand him the bag, and you can look through those and see if there's anything in there that you think you'll like.
I'll have a quick scan. I think that's brilliant. He's gonna love that.
It's a pastel pink, a neutral gray, a deep navy blue, and then the cliche almost every dental office uses type of mint green.
Perfect. So yeah, he's gonna love that. Yeah.
I will say this: you were also able to grab some of the slip-on shoes.
Okay.
You're not certain that they'll fit. They are a larger size. If anything, they might be a little bit tight.
They probably won't fit. As a man with big feet, out of character, I know they probably won't fit.
But you're showing the thought, at least. Okay. The two of you make your way back to the 500 Club. Pete, Frank, and Jules. In the meantime, the three of you have been playing cards. Similar to before, I'm going to ask, what do you wager?
Jules will be shuffling and dilling. So, Peter, how about we talk about what we were talking about earlier before that rude person called you shit dog repeatedly?
What?
Oh, you weren't here. You were busy in the Mississippi.
Big shit fish.
Yeah. And shit water in your lungs.
And I'd do it again too.
Anyway, what I was thinking about, like, that power that you have to turn into that amazing animal, if you were to be, like, willing to share it with me and, Frank.
Huh?
Yeah. Don't you want to be able to turn into that marvelous animal or an animal?
I don't want to be a shit dog. I'm already an amazing animal.
She'll put the cards up. We're hiding her face again. Like, just she'll like put her head against the cards where like you can't really see them. Your face and be like, Okay, okay. How about this? Just me. Like, you know, I will never call you shit dog.
What have you got to offer?
Well, I'm pretty resilient. I can also make people do things that I want them to.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why are we doing this?
Playing cards.
No. Why are we doing like this trade thing? Aren't we supposed to just help each other?
Oh, true. Will you help me out? I'll help you out.
Yeah.
Sure. How you want to do it?
I don't know. What's the best way to do it?
You bite you, and you bite you.
How about this? I just give you my wrist, and you give me your wrist, and then we just drink a little.
So I want to point out previously, you guys had swapped like using a cup. You hadn't actually bitten one another before.
Oh, okay. The Jules will...
You had bitten Anne. You're
Right,
the only
right.
person who's actually bitten someone else.
Can I bite you as well?
No.
No. Don't make it weird.
Well, I feel left out.
Well, you shouldn't have called him a shit dog then.
Well, you shit dog.
Well, take it back.
No.
Okay, well then you can't become a dog because you think he's a shit dog.
I don't want to be a dog. Why would I want to be a dog?
Well, maybe you can be something else. I don't know how that works.
A shit fish.
I don't
Shit
be a
gator.
fish either.
What about a gator?
I'm a vampire. Why do I want to be something else? Being a vampire is great.
A giant armadillo.
Those little things.
Little things. Or a bunny rabbit.
No.
Or
I'm
monkey.
happy
He's
being
scared
a,
of an orc. The big sharp pointy teeth.
I'm happy being a vampire. I don't know why you'd want to be something else.
I'm assuming that there's some form of drinking receptacle in and around the area.
Sure. Also, to go back to that out of character, Jules will probably suggest that a cup or something because, like, you know, she might.
You had the Bond experience.
Right.
Aren't we our own vessels?
Yeah. I mean,
You're just basically a big old bag of blood, right?
basically we all are, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I drank from Anne, and that was okay, but I don't know how he feels about it. You want to drink from one another, or do you want to like drink from a cup, or what?
Let's do a cup thing.
Okay, let's do a cup thing. She'll look around. I don't know when those red
Shake his
solo.
head.
Out of character, I don't know when those red solo cups started being made, or but I like to imagine they were around in the 60s.
I will double check for you, and if they're not, you know there is definitely an eclectic mix of mugs in one of the cabinets.
Okay.
Mason jar or something.
Yeah.
Why does he even have these?
I mean, it's under a bar.
They were made in the 70s.
Oh, they were. Oh,
Yeah.
damn. Okay. She'll look
You have,
around.
a bunch of different, like, nonsensical mugs, ceramic mugs that just always get left at workplaces.
Why does he even keep these? What's
Um,
the point?
I think
One of them
Because he
says
wasn't a
Dad's
vampire
best
until about a
friend.
month ago. He just got back to where he was.
Yeah, but Frank isn't thinking about things in terms of what was. He's thinking about things in terms of what is.
Is there any mason jars? Make sure to get the country in here, so you know.
Yeah, there's some mason jars in there. You see one of the mugs that's definitely well worn says, "World's best cat dad." Another one that says, "I love my dog."
Yeah, we're using that one.
Yeah, she'll take that one.
Oh, I'm looking around for a Sharpie now.
And then she'll like, here, you'll drink from me first, and then she'll bite her wrist, and then force the vitae into the cup.
So you become 1 point hungrier.
Okay.
In essence.
That will put her up to 3 hunger.
Oh boy.
She might be eating the chef herself.
Yeah, your staff is gonna really struggle tonight.
It'll be fine. And then she'll offer the cup to Peter. Here you go. I like to I have to like in character like be thinking about dominate. So I don't know how the will thing works.
Just dominate him. Drink.
No. The share the power of domination.
It is there. He has to pick it out amongst the things that flood his senses.
Okay.
Essentially. So it would, if you had discussed it in more detail and had more experience, it would be very easy for both of you to discern that single power. Whereas right now he's getting basically the broad board of everything available.
Okay.
Because he's not anything that was original to you, he has the ability to take on.
Okay. Out of character, that would be the Ventrue powers of fortitude, dominate, and presence. 40%.
And
Yeah.
this is delicious. It's very similar to the experience that you had when all of you took your first oath. Your first rite becoming Sabbat, true Sabbat. There's a lack of extreme richness, but it is still very rich, because you recall earlier when you had that ritual that the gardener had joined, and there was something just from the quality of blood there that is not quite here, but that doesn't diminish this experience at all. You can just tell that there is a difference between the two that's very stark. And you regain 1 point of hunger if you have hunger.
Yeah. Well, I'm hunger 1, so
Okay, so
sure
you
I can't go down to hunger 0.
Correct.
Unless I drain a dry, but I don't think I'm planning on doing that.
Might throw a wrench into the campaign. I don't know.
Mm.
I mean, it is a Sabbat Chronicle after all.
Rama bonding.
Mm. Lovely. Do the same to another cup,
Okay. And you
but with
lose.
a knife.
You make the cut. You will the blood. It's very clean. Like, the whole process between the two of you is quite clean. You lose 1 point of hunger. Jules, as you partake, you will gain 1 point of hunger. Or rather, swap that. Sorry. He gains a point of hunger. You lose a point of hunger.
Okay, she's back down to 2 now.
Yes. So you would be even then. And let me double check your sheets.
Fortitude, protean, and animalism.
Okay. Each of you forms the first level of a blood bond with one another. Very tentative. It's not that you're willing to do anything for one another. You just look upon each other a little more favorably than the rest of the group.
Okay, would that be under flaws?
I would say so. You could put it as a flaw currently.
Okay.
Let me open the sheet. It might be on the second page. Yeah, I would just put it under flaws, and then you can list it as bond and then the character name.
Gotcha. Basically, we think each other are cool.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And I will say this, while you have the first level of a bond with one another right now, the rest of the group who has partook in the ritual does not necessarily have a blood bond with one another. If and when you partake of the ritual again, because it is something that you do consistently as a Sabbat group, these existing bonds will be broken and everybody will be at an even level with one another. It just reinstills the loyalty with everyone without favoritism.
How do I do what Richie did and just put the name there?
If you click on plus, and then you can add it in, and where it says the category, underneath it there's a section where it says theme, or whatever it is. You click on that and you can type it in.
Oh, so theme? Okay.
Yeah.
So like flaw theme, okay.
Okay, and then I just... There we go.
There you go. Perfect.
And I totally forgot that I had already had access to both of those, so...
Oh yeah, because of Anne.
Right.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. We did share blood, though, right?
Who would
Jules,
agree?
Frank, and
Somebody-
I,
Yes.
like separately, prior to the whole going to get
That-
Anne. Okay, so the ritual would have broken any of those bonds that were forming.
Yes, as long because you shared the blood prior to your ritual, from my understanding.
Yeah.
The ritual would have broken existing blood bonds among you and instilled more of a loyalty throughout all of you.
Okay.
But now I'm
But-
extra loyal to Peter, and Peter's extra loyal to Jules.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So, like, if an argument were to arise, you would be easier to be swayed to take one another's side. You wouldn't immediately jump to it, but you would be easier swayed to it at this point.
Okay. I should have checked my sheet and be like, oh, wait, I can already become shit dog later on if I want to.
So I'm taking it back.
Take it back. I'm taking a ball back.
Yeah. It's cool, it's cool. Well, now you have access to dominate if you want it. So.
Frank, you're sitting there watching this exchange. How do you feel about it?
Frank thinks that they're wasting a lot of time mucking about with cups. Like, he doesn't really understand that, but he's also feeling a little bit left out.
Oh.
But also, like, he doesn't want to make a big deal out of it. Like, he feels left out, but he's taking that emotion and swallowing it so that and not showing it to anybody. He's locking it away in that box, because locking away your emotions is the best way of dealing with your emotions, because that can't possibly go wrong in the future.
No, not ever.
Like, all the criticism he's had tonight, he swallowed all of that. And now being left out of the blood drinking, he's swallowing all of that.
He could just offer him, like, I offer you my powers and abilities.
Yeah, it could.
But will he?
Well, no one's asked.
I mean...
No one has asked, so he's not going, anyone want to drink my blood, guys? Like, my blood's really great as well. It's like, he's just sort of sat watching. If someone was to ask, he probably would just go, yeah, whatever. They are.
Sure,
Frank is
Jules.
the internal notice me senpai.
Jules,
No, he's not. He's just sitting quietly watching, thinking, probably shaking his head and mumbling under his breath,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure,
like he does all the time.
I'm sure Jules will hear him mumbling, and then turn and look at him and say, well, do you want to share something? Anything?
I don't understand what the point of the cup is.
We've seen what happens when you start drinking on occasion. I don't really fancy getting devoured.
Yeah.
Oh, Larry, yeah.
How about this? We make a pact
That's-
with one another, all three of us, that we don't let each other eat one another.
I ain't gonna let anyone eat anyone in this group. That's for everyone else. We get to eat everyone else.
Right. So do you want to share some of your abilities with us?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then Jules will take a bite and suck.
Jules, it's a very pleasant experience for you. However, for Frank, it's an even more pleasant experience. Frank, I don't think you've been bitten before that you're aware of.
Not since before I dug
Yeah.
myself out of the ground. Yeah,
So this
I don't
is
remember that at all.
a very new rush of emotions that you did not anticipate to be associated with the bite itself. Like, these are emotions that you probably have not particularly experienced in such magnitude since your wife passed.
I don't know how we'd react to that.
It's definitely a surprise, to say the least.
He'd probably just sit there and grit his teeth and desperately try not to show any emotion about it whatsoever and just swallow it all.
You gain 1 point of hunger. Jules, you lose 1 point. Down to 1.
Okay.
Is anyone else exchanging?
Some shit, dog.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, then.
Do you want some me first? Don't want you to get too hungry.
I'm fine. I won't have any problems at all. I'm only on hunger 3. It's all good.
Do you want some of me first?
Yeah, but maybe it'd be better to do it when Hank's about, because with the best will in the world, I'm not sure. Jules, I love you to bits, but I'm not sure you're big enough to hold me back if I decide I ain't gonna stop.
Hence using the cup.
You don't want to use the cup.
I mean,
There's a very genuine earnestness in his voice for that one.
You don't want to use the cup.
Why not?
Because you're missing out.
Okay.
out of character, what does Jules get access to from Frank?
Sinatra.
Yeah, there's probably a subtaste of Sinatra. So his clan disciplines are Auspex, Dominate, and Obfuscate, but he hasn't got any Obfuscate.
Okay.
But because of his lore sheet, he also has Potence as a clan discipline.
Oh, okay. So my Auspex and Potence, if the storyteller.
Yes.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm gonna put that purple.
Now, from when we shared blood back then, do I have access to those?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you guys shared without any issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Jules got Obfuscate from him that last time, and then Protean from you, but I forgot. That was just me being out of character, not looking at my sheet.
Yours Auspex, Fortitude, and Protein, right?
Me?
Yeah.
I want to say yes, but I don't know. I think it's Dominate, Protean, and
Animalism.
yeah. but I don't have animalism I don't have animalism.
Okay, so it would just be protein from that. Presence.
Yeah, animalism aspects and this animalism dominate protein in V5.
And I get protein and fortitude from you, Richie, right?
No. Fortitude, animalism, and protein.
Okay. I mean, I'll do it now if you want to do it now, but it's up to you, Jules, if you think you can hold me back.
I think I can hold you back. I can give it a
Okay.
whirl. I mean, what's the
Right.
worst that can happen?
All right, I'm done.
Okay. To prep, I wanna go ahead and activate my stuff.
Okay.
I don't know what all I need to do. I know I need to rouse.
Yes.
So yeah. Do that. I succeeded. That would be for my resilience. I think that was also for my toughness. I mean, not the shatter, and then
Yes. Toughness you rouse for. Resilience is free.
right.
Shatter is arouse.
Okay, let me go ahead and do that. I get hunger, so I'm at 2, and then I want to also activate the prowess of pain.
Okay, and that's one more rouse.
Okay, and I succeeded.
Okay. So you have all of these active together. Let's see. Okay, so you essentially ignore damage right now. You return damage for 1 hit.
Do you want me to just put it up on the thing?
Yes, please.
Okay, let me. Oh, it's moving.
Sorry.
It's fine. Here you go.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so if you take damage, you can increase one of your stats temporarily.
Right.
Got it.
So it'll be in my blood potency. For blood surge is 1, so 7.
Okay. As long as you take damage.
Right, as long as I take damage. And thankfully,
Alright.
this is just one scene, so.
Yes. I have the mental image of Jules like readying herself with mental fortitude, but my mental image, in addition to that, is like she's got the humane, like animal catchers, like arm mitts on, like goalie face mask on, like getting ready to grapple if needed.
And then she'll also light up a cigarette, and like you can see the catcher's mask, and like
Yes.
she's like,
the little special cigarette smoke coming out.
and then
Okay.
she'll be like, "Okay, ready when you are."
Alright.
Okay.
Frank, you go in for the bite.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
How is this happening, Frank? Are you like going in for a bite, or are you waiting for Peter to offer you somewhere
He's
to
been
go?
offered a wrist.
You offer the wrist as he's already halfway out of his chair, going straight for your neck. And he always kind of stop himself and grab your wrist halfway through. So it's wrist rubbish.
You're not my kind of guy.
I'm not a guy at all.
Hmm.
Peter,
Hmm.
you hadn't shared with your previous group, had you?
No.
This would be a first-time experience for you as well, experiencing being bitten by another canite. So you feel the rush of... It's very mild pain compared compared to everything else because it's so immediately entwined with one another. There is a very personal connection between the two of you. There's a rush of endorphins and pleasure associated with it, and it kind of catches you off guard. You were aware that certain things would happen if you bit another canine, but you weren't anticipating this kind of reaction from yourself.
Okay.
You lose, or rather, you gain 1 point of hunger, and Frank loses 1 point of hunger. Frank, I would say, make me a willpower roll, but we'll put the DC at 1. Because I know how much you feed into being a Canite, and this is very delicious. But you are able to just barely hold yourself back.
Oh, like there's the temptation in the back of my skull's like, I don't want to stop this at all. I
Exactly.
absolutely don't want to stop this at all. This is like, but also the other part, like that's half of my brain, and the other half of my brain's like, yeah, but like we're
You
supposed
gave
to
your
be
word.
looking after each other.
Yeah. And that portion of your mind wins out this time. It may not always be that way, but this time that portion wins out. And Jules, you can see like the struggle on his face simultaneously mixed with the enjoyment of the moment before they actually break apart.
I like to think that right before he breaks apart, Jules will be starting to reach out to get him off of Peter, but then he kind of stands up or stops, and then Jules kind of just so they don't notice.
I will say at this point, wrist still held in Frank's hand, semi-outstretched, the wounds beginning to seal is when Hank and Dr. Isaacs walk into the garage.
Oh
Toss him
yeah.
the bag.
It'll catch a bag with one hand as he thrusts his wrist in the face of Peter. Thanks.
Oh, hi.
We're eating.
We're eating.
Wanna join in? I'm in my stopping garb.
I'm good. You eating each other or
Come
randoms that you found her?
Yeah, I munch on down.
Yep, immediate like return to that endorphin high for you, Frank. As if those few moments between were just not quite hell on earth, but there's nothing comparing the sensation you have presently to the mundane existence between.
Basically, Hank, and Dr. Isaacs, we're trading abilities. So we're not, nothing weird, you know.
You say that, but like the moment between them, while not expressly intimate, is very potentially uncomfortable to actually walk in on because there is an intimacy to it written on their faces. It's not an intimate act occurring, at least not with the intention of intimacy.
Oh, does Jules now have a bond with Frank now? Since she.
Yes.
Okay. Let me add that as well.
Yep. And Frank, you now have a bond.
Shit dog.
And Peter, you have a bond with Frank. All at first level.
What disciplines were you?
So the disciplines that I actually have are that are technically clan, although not actually, but technically clan, are Auspex, Dominate, and Potence.
Auspex, Dominate, and Potence.
Yep.
What did Jules have? Sorry.
Jules has dominate, fortitude, and dominate.
Dominate, fortitude, and
She's
dominate.
really good at dominate. Presence, I think you mean.
Presence, okay.
Presence, dominate, and fortitude. My bad.
It was It was more funny when it was dominate, fortitude, and fucking dominate. All right.
Yeah, she's really good at it.
Yeah, cool.
So many powers being transferred. I would like to offer the title of this episode as Canites Spin the Bottle.
I'll make a note.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh goodness. And that is a good bit of your evening taken up. Would anyone else like to partake or share?
Yeah, I'm all good, thanks.
Oh, come on, boys.
I will offer,
You are missing out.
but I will not partake.
I've read yours.
Yeah.
Okay. Frank, you slowly come back down from the high of the last bite, and in your hand is a smaller, not quite gym-sized duffel bag that people would take around, and you can feel that there's a weight to it. Probably some lighter weight fabrics in there, but there's also, when you open it, a set of white OR shoes, essentially. Nondescript, probably tennis shoes, sneaker style. You don't think they'll fit. You could probably push down the back of them and use them as slide-ons for the time being until you can find shoes.
I'll do.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And then you notice the various colors of scrubs in there. The mint green, the pastel pink, the gray, and the navy blue.
Okay. It doesn't care about the colours.
Just letting you know.
Yeah.
Do you change into any of those, or do you continue to wear Hank's clothes that he shared with you?
He'll kind of look at Hank and like, I'm alright with these for now?
Yeah, you can. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay, good. I've got some spares and that's excellent. Thanks, boys.
Jules,
Yes, ma'am.
dinner is scheduled for about an hour from this point. You know that Romero is likely going to make some arrangements for, even not making it a big deal, he's going to make it a pleasant evening type of situation to meet your friends. You did ask him to meet you there in an hour, and he anticipated them arriving after that.
Okay.
So he's probably going to show up to the house before you do, from your current arrangement.
Okay. She'll relay that to the boys.
So, this guy's not like a vampire then,
No.
but we're not allowed to eat him.
Yeah, don't eat him yet.
But the chef's fair game.
Yeah, the chef's fair game. He needs to be silent. Complications, you know. I can't have complications.
I'm good at that.
And also, as I get better with, controlling people, who knows? Y'all can stay at my place. Maybe. If you like it. So, yeah.
I'm kind of been scoping out my own place.
Well, it's up to you. Like, this is a free country. We are not Russia, after all, so,
I feel like Boris and the guys are like, hey, she's out of nowhere. What do you mean by that?
And then something like Jules was like, oh, ugly men. Oh, God. Run away.
They all look so similar.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 dinner bell.
Time to learn some blood sorcery.
I mean, technically. Anyway.
So,
May or may not have somebody with something similar available.
Probably. Anyway, Jules will Jules will relay that and say, "Yeah, so I'm gonna go smooth things with over Romero, and then y'all can show up, okay? Don't eat the
And
front
we'll go
gate."
together.
Yeah, we can go together if you want, but just know he's gonna be there already.
Alright, okay.
Does anyone want to ride with me?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay.
I have to air out the van.
Yeah.
I'll go with the doc.
Yeah. Go in the van. Yeah.
Even if they... Oh god, the image of the Crocs. Anyway, even if you walk, it's not extremely far away. It's about 3 blocks away, give or take a little bit of distance for alleyways.
Nah, I'm too hungry. I'll get distracted.
But it's not as close as like in season 2 of Shadow of the Spires, where you can just walk and just be there right on the corner, right?
Like
Yeah.
Trip over the curb and land
So-
from
Yeah.
one place to the other, yeah.
If I mark it out for you, roughly, on the map, this golden square is where the 500 Club is.
Okay.
Your home is essentially on the corner or midway point of Jackson Square right here. You're about 2 streets over and 2 streets down.
Okay. Yeah. That's
Only a couple city blocks.
yeah. That's a lot farther than the hotel that Abigail
Yeah.
refused to walk to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this would be a reasonable distance for like a bike or maybe your vehicle. Because also walking in the south during the majority of the year is a miserable experience.
It is nighttime though.
It is.
Oh great, you just don't have the sun on you, but you still have the muggy air and it's still warm and it's still
Look, the sun's like
wafting off the
90% of the
Mississippi.
issue.
And
Okay,
is-
that's-
when
We
is it?
also don't sweat.
July? June, July,
It's June, yeah.
June.
You're midway. You're
Well-
towards the end of June now.
At least it's not August. August would be very unbearable, but yeah, I do agree. You can smell everybody else.
Yeah, true that most of the issue is the sun during these months, but yeah.
Well, Jules will get into her car and wait for Hank to get into the passenger seat.
Hank will jump in, no problem.
She'll wait for them to come up behind her in the van.
You see, this is a nicer ride than the van, trust me. You do not want to be in the van for the foreseeable future.
That bad?
That bad. Worse than that bad. Yeah.
Worse than water?
Oh,
Worse than that.
Jules, you're easily able to lead the group. You take a circuitous route. You go along the less busy streets, so you don't have to wait for as many people crossing. And you pull along the side of your home. So your home is near one of those alleys that is just wide enough for small cars and foot traffic.
Okay.
And then the opposite side is street oriented, so you would be on the street side. So I had to.
What'd you have
zoom
to do?
in. Wow. I'm gonna zoom all the way out apparently. I'm
Oh.
going to zoom in and mark the location of your home for you.
Okay. Okay. I got the map zoomed in as well. I can kind of see and show the audience.
So you travel from the 500 Club northeast by east about 3 blocks. You come down 1, head west and south, and you park roughly along the front street side over here.
Oh, okay.
Your home is actually right here on the inner corner of this area, but you park on the street side.
Okay.
It is ringed by tall stonework fencing, which we touched on before, but you know not to try and go over the top of. You are well aware that some of the older practices of the city where they would cement broken bottles to the top to dissuade intruders has in fact been part of this since before you bought it. The rough iron gate at the front, the gentleman who guards the front door greets you politely. It's a different individual tonight. You recognize him as George.
Hi, George.
Ah, Miss Romero.
How's it going?
It's going well. How can I help you this evening? And he quickly moves up to the gate to open it. Mr. Fontenot is out. Oh, I'm so sorry. You can tell he's a little bit newer on the job. You haven't seen him out here too often, but he is a familiar face. You imagine him working the front door is probably new for him. I'm sorry, Mrs. Fontenot.
It's fine.
Mr. Romero is currently out. Can I assist you with anything? And he kind of glances over your shoulder, noticing your company, and looks to you to make sure that you're not under duress.
This is Hank, and in the back behind me are some associates. We're coming to meet my husband tonight.
Oh, he did mention there would be a dinner. Right this way, please. And he ushers you into the courtyard. As you step in, for the rest of the group, this is your first time being here, you notice that there are nice, large cobblestone-style steps up to the front stairs, leading up to a wraparound porch that encompasses most of the home, from what you can see. And in this little courtyard, there's just lush greenery everywhere. There are vines growing over the interior of the tall stone wall that you couldn't see on the exterior of it, except for maybe peeking over the top here and there. There's a soft grass carpet weaving in between some of the cobblestones. There's a water feature off to the right, a small fountain with a dolphin on it. And he quickly, once the last person enters the courtyard, he will close the gate behind them, latch it, and then rush up the front steps to open the door for you, Jules.
Okay. Why, thank you.
Of course, yes. Would you like anything? Do you need me to notify any of the help for you?
Yeah, the chef. Tell him that we're gonna be in the living room.
Certainly. Would you like for me to open the side walls for the porch?
Sure.
Okay, so that being said, your home is a beautiful ivory base coat with a deep, like luscious, almost ivy style green for some of the trim, specifically like the shutters and whatnot. And you know what he's discussing is your your wraparound porch that reaches the alley side. The tall, like floor to ceiling shutters open out, and you can see into the alley if you want to. Like, they can't approach you well, but you can see out into the alley if you want. And that, unfortunately, does open some of the house to less privacy.
We'll work at it. That's out of our course. I don't want to make him like close it again. Make him open it then close it.
He will excuse himself once he's certain that you and your company are inside comfortably, and he locks the front door after. Clearly goes to get the chef first, and then he'll proceed out to the porch, and you can hear the shutters being unlatched and opened.
Frank, don't make a mess, please.
What do you mean?
Just take him to the van.
No.
Put plastic down. and take him to the
No.
vet.
No, no, no.
What do you mean?
When you feed, do not make a mess, please.
What is the point?
You can kill him, I don't care. Just don't make a mess.
Alright.
Out of character, I'm pretty sure there's some part of the house where you could probably take someone if you wanted to get rid of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Um,
It's innocuous guest bathroom number 3, which you are well aware of, has been repurposed multiple times for family business on occasion. But it cleans up very easily and it's spotless.
so the murder bathroom, basically. Okay.
Yes.
Now take him to this bathroom, and she'll take him to the murder bathroom. Here. Okay.
You also technically have a very small garden shed out back. Technically.
Oh, there's also a garden shed.
Oh, that's probably better.
Okay. Okay.
Can I
It's-
take him now?
As soon as he shows up.
As you were saying this, you hear Miss Fontenot
Oh, hi.
from down the hall, and you see the chef, who is rosy-cheeked, like chef hat in hands, very awkwardly turning the brim between his fingers, looking at you, and then he realizes you have company with you. It's kind of obvious he thought maybe that only you were asking to see him.
Out of character, I can't remember his name. I can't. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
He ain't gonna be around much longer.
Yeah, she'll introduce him to Frank. Hey, do me a favor. Go with Frank out to the shed, okay?
Did I do something wrong? Miss Fon-
No.
No. I want to use Dominate the Compel.
Okay.
Is free. Look him in the
Yeah.
eye and say, "Go with Frank."
Yes, madame, right away.
And then she'll let him go out there.
So you
sure.
open the opposite door from the front. So you open the back door.
Mhm.
It's a small, it's similar in size to the courtyard, a little bit larger. This one is completely encased by the privacy wall that you have. There is a back wrought iron fence to it, like opening gateway, but you can't see through it. It's much more solid than the rest. Off to the left side, not quite touching the wall because you wouldn't want it near enough that they could avoid trying to step on top of the wall, is a garden shed, probably about 5 by 10, if that. It's a very tight squeeze. Specifically,
Can
a
I
tight squeeze.
follow? Can I follow them in? I'll ask Jules. Can I go with?
Oh, Jules wouldn't have cared. She'd left it up to Frank to deal with that particular thing, but she doesn't care who goes. She just,
Thank you.
but she's not following all out there. She just basically pointed the way to where the shed is.
I have my hand on the back of his neck as we walk in.
You can tell he feels a little, like, tense with you touching him, but he's just like, did the missus need something? Are you one of the new workers here? It's nice to meet you. Did she say anything? He, his eyes become, like, a little bit wide. Like, he has the sense that he's in danger, but simultaneously he would rather follow what Jules has asked of him than act on his self-preservation right now.
If I may also add, I also have obvious predator as a flaw.
Oh yes, that is very much a part of his discomfort, especially in being near you, let alone you having, like, guiding him as a prey animal essentially would by the neck into a slaughter chute. Hank, Frank, stepping into the shed, this place is already kind of uncomfortably close for you, the chef himself is not a small man either. He is not particularly muscular, but he does enjoy his cooking and his food. And as you get there, he starts to look around confused, and you can see that there are various garden implements and tools scattered about, hung up neatly on the wall, on a few small benches here and there, small potted plants in the process of being replanted or shifted across to another area. It's a well-used, well-maintained space with the kind of not quite clutter, not quite organization that shows that it's cared for, but also commonly used. And the ground itself is the floor for the shed. There is not a wooden floor in here.
Are there any like tarps or anything around in this place? Like, I've been told not to make a mess, so I want to like put something down if I can.
You see a dirty green tarp thrown in one of the corners, and you can see the bottom of several ceramic pots popping out from beneath it. It looks as though it might be laid over some plants.
Alright, I'll pull that out.
You find this is likely one of the sources of Jules' particularly favorite special cigarettes.
I don't know what that is, so...
Yep. In the process of being
I see some plants.
Repotted and haphazardly covered up to not be obvious in the meantime.
I see some greenery. I don't understand what it is. It doesn't trigger anything in his brain.
That's fine. Hank, you probably recognize these.
Sure, yeah. So while Frank is pulling tarp off Jules' special plants, Hank is going to step in and bite the chef.
Hey, no fair!
He wobbles for a moment and kind of latches onto you for support, Hank.
Okay.
But there is no fight. He's overcome by the bite itself.
Well, I'm taking 1 blood point.
Okay.
And then I will disengage and push him in Frank's direction.
Frank, you're standing there with the tarp in your hands.
I'll drop the tarp on the floor and try and pull him onto it as best as I can, but I'm too invested in eating now.
It's that situation of if you have siblings, the first one to get to the food got the food.
Oh, I don't mind sharing. It's like, that's not fair. You start without me.
Hank's just going to take a step back so he doesn't get splashed.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so that he's just going to step out of the way because he's seen Frank feed before, and he knows it's going to be fairly brutal. So he's going to step back, and just make sure that nobody stumbles in on the scene, and Frank and the chef can have their moment, and that it's all sort of kept relatively clean and there's no mess, as per the doc's instruction.
So Frank, while the last time I fed, I used brutal feed, and I've since had a conversation with Hank about that. He is going to drain him, but he's going to do it slowly and try to limit as much mess as possible.
Essentially, you actually feed more than you waste. Understood. There is a little bit of blood splatter, just because you're trying to find that balance within yourself. This is the first time you've tried to rein it in some.
I mean, sort of.
It's some. In some,
Yeah,
not all.
yeah.
It is a messy scene, but it is not a gruesome scene, unlike before. Most of the tarp does its job. You do get a little bit of cast off here and there in the dirt floor, but it's not on the walls, it's not on the ceiling, it's not coating your face as it did the first time or your shirt. And quickly, surprisingly quickly, the chef slumps in your arms. It's over almost as soon as it begins, it feels like, for you. I will say this, you get 2 points back. But only 2.
Okay.
This man has been fed on by 2 people today, in addition to you.
Alright, puts me down to 1, that's fine.
Okay.
So that was good, but it's not as good as like just ripping all of his blood out in one go. So he's like, yeah, it's alright. It's alright.
It'll do. If you have to, you could do that. It's not your preferred.
Yeah. And then he'll set about starting to wrap him up in the tarp, looking around the place for string and tape, etc., to package it up really nicely.
Easily accessible. There's like gardening twine here, as well as a little bit of outdoor tape for certain situations.
Is it possible to be able to conceal the body in a sort of temporary sense in the shed, so when we leave we can take the body with us?
That
But
no
so-
one's going
so
to come
the-
out to the shed this evening.
Well, if no one's going to come out to the shed, I was leaving the shed. But like, I don't necessarily know that, so I'm going to kind of try and do my best to make it not look immediately obvious if someone was to stumble into the shed, with the intention of taking it away and dealing with it later.
I would say yes, but I would like a intelligence subterfuge from you.
Oh, great! I'm brilliant at that. It's one of my best.
2. We'll do a 2.
I'm awesome at intelligence subterfuge. Nah.
I even gave you a range you could get a 2. You lay the body down behind a number of larger, ornate pots that are currently empty along one wall, and then you kind of haphazardly lean bags of fertilizer and soil against it, so it just looks like a lumpy mess that maybe there's more soil or fertilizer behind it, and you think
That's
that
good enough.
yeah, you think at a glance that's fine. That's yeah. You kick a little dirt over the blood splatter on the floor that got down there.
Wedge
It
one of
turns
the pots on his head.
Yeah. There you go. You think it's good. You don't think... You think they'd have to look to find a body is what you feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
Okay.
Head back.
Some good work.
We'll head back. I'll say to Jules, you need new chef.
Oh, don't worry, that's being taken care of. It might be why my darling husband is late.
Do you want us to get rid of the body, or is your darling husband going to do that?
It's all packaged.
As long as if it's packaged, then he can do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I would like
God-
to point out
God
he's
help.
not quite late yet.
One more time.
He's not
Gonna
quite
say-
late yet.
Not quite. One more. I'm sorry.
He's not late yet. You
Oh,
guys
he's not.
got here before he did.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, if he could look after them, that would be great. It would reduce our chances of ending up back in the Mississippi again.
Well, sure. But yeah, it's in a tarp or something.
Yeah.
Okay. And he
Yeah.
can't tell that y'all did things to it, like obvious, the obvious thing.
I mean, the body's wrapped up in a tarp. It's fairly obvious what's happened to him. If you think that he'll undo the tarp to get rid of the body, it may be better for us to take it and dispose of it.
Out of character, of course, I don't think that he's gonna like examine the body, to dump it or anything.
I guess out of character, it depends if you know how he would get rid of a body or not.
Yeah, I imagine that Jules does know how he would get rid of the body.
He
but
knows that Jules knows that Romero's thought process would be, if I don't know what's wrong with the body, even if they connect it to me and I can't tell them the details, they can't pin it on me.
Okay, great. Okay, possible deniability. Okay, great. Yeah, no, I'm just leave it in there. It'll be fine.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, and thank you both for taking care of that problem.
Have you got any more chefs you want to get rid of?
Oh,
Just let me know.
actually, that's what I like to bring up too. I told my husband to give me a list of people that are problematic for us. So yeah,
Oh, well, I'm more than happy to help out.
right. And if you want to like have some of them work for you, that's fine. If you want to just eat them, great too. Tools. Or if you want to like keep them around to be the distraction for after we're, into the city, if you know what I mean.
Not really. It's fine.
Just don't eat everything you come across, back, yeah?
Right.
It's like a buffet.
Yeah.
Sometimes
yeah.
you don't want them all eaten.
Right.
Check with Jules on the dock.
Right. Because some of the tasty ones are of use and can be useful. Like my husband. I'm sure he's tasty. Out of character, I think Jules knows how he's tastes because she's fed off of him.
Yes.
Yeah.
We could find out.
I know that he's tasty, but he's also useful, so don't eat my husband, okay?
Alright, you said that.
Yeah.
You
Don't.
hear a knock at the front door. Jules, you know that's unusual, but also typically if you are expected guests to have privacy, you will receive a polite knock before it is opened.
Okay. Oh, here he is now.
There is not much time between the knock and the door opening, specifically is because it is Romero entering. But you see as he walks in, there is a middle-aged female behind him with graying hair. She seems a little bit stockier, a little bit wider, and she's actually dressed in a proper chef's attire, though she is not using the hat. And she will give a cursory glance around the front room, notice that you and your friends are in the far hall discussing something, and give you a polite nod, like an inclination of her head, but not say anything. Romero himself steps in, completely put together, head to toe. His hair is in place, his suit is on point. Like, there is nothing that you could pinpoint on this man that you would have to correct, that you would want to correct. In his arms, he has 2 bottles nestled of port in the left, and what looks to be like a very nice box of cigars in the right, and he gives you a brilliant smile.
Darling.
Love, good evening. I brought the newest chef, Potential. I know you said you would take care of the other and letting them go.
He did get let go. Also, kind of like a out of character thing. I'm pretty sure as soon as we hear the knock, Jules would blush with life. So yeah, let me blush with life with that.
Yes, please.
Oh, just to let you know, Frank absolutely doesn't.
Dick. So Jules is now at 3 hunger. So
okay. If you'll excuse me, I will get all of this put away. Where would you like for us to sit?
where we normally sit, darling.
So he will go to the common room instead of like the living room afterwards. It's where you've been spending most of your time together. As he passes by, he will kind of subtly count the number of heads with you, you can tell he's figuring out how many glasses to bring.
I didn't break the head off.
As he passes by, he will stop the chef that has been following him silently till this point and introduce her as Evangeline Davis. She's going to be your new personal chef for the time being.
Nice to meet you. As you know, Jules, this is Frank, Hank, Peter, and then also Dr. Isaac.
It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance this evening. Madame, would you have a preference for your meal?
Oh, I think maybe we'll have like some snacks, some ador, I can't say the fucking word. Out of here.
Hors
Little
d'oeuvres.
snacks.
Hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah.
I got you.
Who's Dervers?
Yeah.
Hors d'oeuvres.
So yeah, those. And then give us some privacy tonight. Okay. And the kitchen's that way. And she'll point towards where it is.
Okay. And Romero was heading further down to where the kitchen is. He just wanted to be polite and actually introduce you. So he will take her on into the kitchen and get things settled.
Tosi, as
Yes.
he's walking away, I want to let my perception slip a little, and I want to try and scry his soul.
Okay. What are you trying to scry for?
I just want to know, like, I want to try and just learn a little bit more about him, because I don't really understand why Jules is keeping him around if he's just a normal person. So I'm guessing there's something special about him.
I can tell you right off of the bat, he has no supernatural attributes about him.
Okay.
But his strength of self and of personal character is quite strong in comparison to most others that you have used this on to this point. He does make a considerable impression upon your senses, despite not being of supernatural origin.
Okay.
You can also tell that there is something not quite right about him. It's not the same aura as if he would have committed diablerie, but there is something sinister, innate about Romero.
He's a bad boy. So Frank will just kind of like watch him go, and like his eyes will glaze over a little bit as he does so, and then as he comes out of it, he'll have like a knowing smile on his face.
Potentially could be useful, yes. You get settled in the main drawing room. Romero joins you with the bottles of port and a tray of glasses, and he'll set them down, and as a true consummate host, begin opening the bottle and pouring everyone a glass to savor together. My wife tells me good things about all of you, and that we could become fast friends and potentially business partners.
Indeed, darling.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
You must be the doctor. We always have use for a new friend in the medical field. He'll hand you the glass, Dr. Isaacs, as he says that.
Thank you.
Oh, forgive me. Where are my manners? This is the doctor, Isaacs, as you figured out. This is Frank, then Hank, and then the good police officer, Peter.
As each of you are introduced, he will hand you your glasses respectively before taking his own. Jules, you got yours first, I want to point out.
Oh, okay.
Before taking his own at the end and taking a seat across from everyone. Close to Jules, but where he can see all of you.
Frank would be like, I don't really understand why you've given me this, but okay. Like he was just looking at it like confused.
Mm-hmm.
Jules is just kind of eye you, just mouth the words go along with it.
So, your order of business. What are you interested in the city? I understand that you took a trip with my wife recently and had a bit of fun in California.
Huh?
Oh, you remember, Frank, that life-changing experience
Oh, yeah.
in California. And just got back into town when we did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Frank's really good with his hands, and as I told you, swimming the Mississippi. So, you know,
Interesting.
yeah.
We could have use of an individual good with their hands.
Do you mean like making things? I'm good at making things.
He's gonna look at you, Jules.
Yes, he's good at making things.
And could find work for you, yes.
There was a rainstorm, and he built this lovely little hut. It's amazing.
Oh.
And he looks a bit unsure. He's unsure about like what he's allowed to say and what he's not allowed to say here. So he's kind of looking at Jules like, and getting rid of chefs.
Yeah, he got rid of the naughty chef.
Romero's brow is going to furrow very faintly as you say that, Jules. Specifically the descriptor for the chef.
Mhm.
And you get a glance from the corner of his eye at you, but he keeps his attention towards the others and says nothing for a moment. I see. Then it is my thanks you have, Frank, for doing that.
Oh, it was my pleasure.
I think that maybe beyond your talents of building items, if you have a knack for getting rid of naughty chefs, we could find particular work for you.
Oh, I would like that a lot.
He's also looking for a place on his own, too. Isn't that
Kind of.
right, Frank?
Yeah. I was looking for some work and somewhere to stay. I think I might have got an idea of somewhere I can stay, but I need to wait until after, that thing.
Sorry, darling. There's some things he doesn't want to share and can't share. And, like, we have some projects.
Romero is going to wave his hand and just shake his head. It's quite alright, I understand. In our line of business, it is wiser to speak with less detail than more when necessary. Peter. What?
Aye.
You're an unusual addition to this group that my wife is bringing home for introductions. What interest do you currently have in the goings-on of the city?
I know there's some weird stuff happening. People are going missing. And I'm interested to find out why.
I'd make a bargain with you.
Mm.
We're having issues in our own work because of some of these missing persons. Not only are a few of them some of ours, and he'll place a hand on Jules next to him, but they've kind of riled up your coworkers, which is making things a little more difficult for business in the city in general. if you're willing to work with me, I'm willing to give you access to some of our contacts that may or may not already speak with you in more detail.
More fingers and more pines is very useful.
Exactly. You look a little the other way occasionally for us, depending on what's going on. Of course, not putting you in too tight of a bind. And we'll figure out which pies you want fingers in.
I'm sure we can come to some arrangement.
And Jules, he's going to give your hand a squeeze very gently.
She'll squeeze it back and then smile at him and at the others.
Have you still got your, like, things on? You don't crush his hand to bits.
Oh, I don't think it's done. I hope not.
Oh, different scene. Different scene.
Different-
You're good. Different scene.
Oh, we broke one.
New husband time.
It's okay, I can fix it.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
yeah.
Me too.
Just put the hand back together. Don't worry,
Yeah.
you'll be fine.
Don't worry, this only costs $1,000. New hand. Forget.
As comedic as that would be for the sudden, like, startled realization, no, that this is a different scene. Those have worn off for the moment.
Surprise! You're gonna die.
Blood everywhere.
Yeah.
He will redirect his attention to Hank at this point and give you a very polite smile. Not quite a warm smile, but definitely polite.
And Hank will return that with a polite smile and a nod back.
I recognize you. I've had a few business dealings in the area of the 500.
Yeah.
You're a hard person to miss outside when your shift is on.
That's the general idea. Yeah. So it's just nice to be acquainted with yourself and Miss Jules here.
Likewise, and as long as your boss is amenable, I'm certain that we would love to work together. I won't
You
offer
need
you
to
anything.
take that up with the boss, yeah.
Yes, of course. I won't offer you anything currently. I wouldn't want to put you at odds or in a difficult situation.
I totally understand, that's fair. Yeah.
But as long as Jules says so, you are welcome to visit.
Thank you.
And then he'll finally set his gaze on Dr. Isaacs again. So,
I'll give the wine a swirl.
you're just not looking, you're just looking at your wine.
I'm being a nice guest. Acting like I know a little something.
Fair enough. Romero will clear his throat to get your attention, Dr. Isaacs.
Yes.
So, your current line of work, what do you focus on?
Toxicology mostly.
Interesting.
But if you need any physical doctoring, any medical assistance, things like gunshots and that sort of thing, I have experience.
He looks a little surprised at the suggestion that you just made. Sounds like a truly unfortunate situation, but I'll keep that generous offer in mind.
I don't know why we should hide things here. We're all friends.
True that we are. Fast friends.
Well, then I will speak frankly. What is it that your studies are in need of?
I need supplies. I don't need much for studies. I help out those less fortunate. I would need supplies for that.
Very well, as long as you offer your capabilities, we can see what we can do for supplies.
Very well.
With that, there is a polite knock at the door, but it remains shut. Romero's going to get up. He's going to place his glass down, get up, cross the room, open the door, and bring in the hors d'oeuvres that you requested because you also requested privacy. And he's going to set them down on the table between everyone for you to help yourselves.
Toast, is there like a plant next to me or something?
Yeah, is there a plan?
Yeah, because as soon as Romero's back's turned, Hank is like,
So is
I'll put his empty
Jules.
glass down.
So it's
Give me some
because
fairly
I know where this
inebriated
is
plants.
going. Yes. Yes, there is a plant very close to you.
Right.
They're throughout the room. These are the very nice large pots that you saw in the shed itself, and you can tell that these are well maintained, well cared for, and a couple of them probably in the far corners might be very well made plastic replicas.
Cool.
Yep. You very quickly just like reach over and dip it out. Anybody else trying to do this?
Jules definitely would have.
Yeah, I'll follow
Jules-
his lead.
I can't imagine that Frank would even think about it. He's just holding onto his glass and it's kind of like, I don't really understand what I'm doing with this.
Jules, you would be able to partake currently
Oh, okay. Well, then in that case,
because you're blushed.
yeah, that's true. Then
Just gonna have to Ralph it up later.
she'll wrap it up later. It's fine.
It's a very, very nice port.
It's going to
You
taste nicer
imagine-
than the Mississippi anyway.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
imagine it was like nicer in the
Yeah.
Mississippi.
That's not hard to do.
Don't knock it till you tried it.
I'm gonna tell you this. That's not hard to do. Grew up there. I understand.
I hate to like going back to it. I hate to be like really vulgar, but was there like crawfish coming out of his mouth as well, or anything like, but just water?
Probably some
Thankfully, no.
snails.
Oh, okay.
Couple of eels, yeah.
Thankfully, at this point in time, no. If he decides to sleep in the Mississippi, there may be a different situation in the future.
That might happen.
Yeah,
Frog
that
eggs.
yeah.
Then we'll have to go to the Gulf of Mexico to find him.
He gets caught by one of the ship anchors, wakes up
Yeah.
way out at sea.
Oh, I'll just walk back. It's fine.
Where's Frank? Panama. Okay.
That's what happened with the Evergreen. It was fighting with Frank and trying to like move.
He wanted to go the opposite direction. I was walking at my hardest.
Okay. Really quick, we'll wrap up the last session of the year for us here shortly.
Mm.
You have a very pleasant business conversation for the evening. Romero will offer for each of you to stay the night in guest rooms if you would like. He anticipated this, Jules. You imagine he made prior arrangements for their rooms just in case, especially because you invited people so late in the evening. He knows that most others may not be carrying the new hours that you are.
Okay. Or most of them will be carrying the new hours that I am.
He wasn't certain, so he wanted
Oh.
to make sure they had a place to stay if they needed it.
All right.
Specifically because these are your guests and potential business partners.
That's very thoughtful. I love my husband. Well, Jules loves her husband.
He's very attentive, and he made sure to show up on point tonight. And he brought the really nice stuff from what you could taste.
Oh, the nice. Okay.
He brought the expensive stuff. So like when you see them dipping it into the plants, you take the first sip, you're just like, that's the multiple $100 bottles.
The plants might appreciate it.
Then she'll look and then she'll just pause for a moment and then collect herself and then swig. I don't want a frenzy check and then like, yeah.
No, you're good. You're good. It's just one of those situations of this is the very first time that has happened. Going forward, you understand that is potentially a problem for your temper.
Yeah. Thank goodness she's not a toreador.
We will pick up on the start of the following evening. do you guys stay at Jules's home and accept the
No, Hank would head
hospitality?
back.
Okay.
Oh, before the night's out, Jules will feed on Hubby.
Okay. That is how you will close out your pleasant evening together then.
Okay.
Peter, Frank, and Dr. Isaacs, do any of you stay at the Fontenot estate?
No.
Negative.
Nah, go ahead home.
Alright. That being said, is there any final business you try to attend to before the night wraps and you have to return to your places?
No.
Alright. With that, have 3 experience points, and we conclude our final episode for this year.
Boom.
Yeah.
Now, do you want to include like expenditures in the like stream thing, or?
No, that's okay. That can be amongst us, because it will be a reveal later, I feel like.
Okay.
Okay, let me just close out. Hey, thanks for watching. We'll see you in New Year on when, Toasty?
See, our first episode of the new year for 2025 will be on the 5th.
Gotcha. And then Chris will be starting Fallout Home Sweet Home on the 8th of January.
Indeed.
Yeah. So there you go. Thanks for joining us, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. All right.
Have a
bye.
great holidays.
Merry Christmas.